So now let's see creating a profile and how to control the access for this. Okay. So license is very much important while creating a profile. Okay. Now let's see what is a system admin profile. Okay. System administrator profile is a standard profile. So there are two types of profiles in Salesforce. One is custom profile and standard profile. You have already seen this, what is standard and what is custom. Standard profiles means what are the profiles provided by the Salesforce, those are called standard profiles. Okay. And what are the profiles you created for your access and everything, those are called custom profiles. Okay. Now, if you see that you have in the object level, you have layouts, right? Let's say if you have 10 layouts or 15 layouts for an object, which layout should be displayed to this profile users? The one important thing is one profile can be assigned to any number of users based on the licenses. That is very much important. One profile can be assigned to any number of licenses, any number of users based on the licenses. Using one license, you can create any number of profiles also. There is no restriction. But one user can have only one profile. One profile can have any number of users, but one user can have only one profile. Okay. While creating user, you have already seen that when you are creating an user, option is only one profile will be there, right? So be careful on this one. Now let's see. Using the profiles, you can control the layouts. Okay, here you can see this. Field level security means whether the field should be edit or read only or others if you don't want. Application settings you can have. Then tab settings. Okay, tabs also you can control. Record type settings. What type of record types you can provide. Okay, then administrative permissions you have, as well as object settings, standard object permissions, custom object permissions, then password policies, all that stuff. Okay, and again here another thing is Visual Force page access, Apex class access, login hours, login IP ranges, and these named credentials. All these you should note down. Okay, these are the permissions and settings and accesses can be controlled through the profile. Okay, now let's create one profile with the Salesforce permission. I mean, Salesforce license. Okay, go to the profiles. Just type profiles in the quick find. You can get the option. Okay, this is profiles. Lightning will be okay. Here you can see this, whether it is a custom profile or standard profile. These are the custom profiles. Custom profiles can be deleted. There is delete option, right? And edited as well. But standard profiles cannot be deleted. Standard profiles, you cannot delete them and you cannot create them. Custom profiles you can create and you can delete. So, okay. Now let me create new profile. While creating a profile, you have to select the existing profile first. Okay. So I'm selecting Salesforce, this user, then license will be automatically selected. You can create any number of profiles. Say this charter external license. Okay. Let's say customer community login, customer community login profile plus customer community plus. Okay. to understand all the concepts, let's clone from system administrator and he is the Salesforce license. Okay. Now here I'm going to give, or let's say platform. Okay. Platform, Salesforce platform user, platform license. Okay. I'm going to create SFTC platform users. Sales. I have to give all the FLS and everything, right? Let's go and create same kind of profile. System administrator profile. Say customers. You can give some test profile also, whatever the name you want, you can give. Okay. I'm giving this profile name as customer profile. Now let me assign this profile to the test user. This is the test user. Edit and change the profile name to customer profile. Okay. Now whatever the settings and permissions access are available on the Salesforce system administrator profile, the same permissions are in the customer profile because we have cloned from the system administrator profile. Okay. Now when we change refresh, classic version to differentiate better. See, classic, little bit fast. Okay. Now, so go to the profile. This is the custom profile we have. Okay. Here, let's start with tab settings. Okay. So, okay. First, custom app settings. Now here, if you see this, all apps are available. Service, marketing, all the apps are there. Right. Now, let me move all the permissions. Like, can remove everything, content, writing, sales and recovery, sales console. I have removed everything, only sales app is there. Okay, now just save. Just refresh. Is there drop down for app launcher? Because only sales application has been provided, so there is no drop down to select the different, right? So here, let's go and change the some other settings, like tab settings, standard tabs, accounts is there, and then others are there. So let me test with contacts tab. Okay, just a second. Ramesh, just pause the recording for a minute. Now we just have seen that app settings we have seen. Now let's go and change the contacts. Contacts. This is the Contacts tab. So there are three types of settings for the tab. Tab hidden, default off, default on. Default on means that will be automatically displayed on the tab panel. I have already told you what is tab panel. If it is hidden, that won't be displayed on the UI. Okay. Default off means it will not be available always. Tab hidden means if you click on plus button, the tab will be displayed. Right? It's not much mandatory. Just see this. So there will be tab hidden. For contacts, just made the tab setting as tab hidden. Now here, to that user, see this. So contacts has been removed. So we have given that hidden, right? That will be available here. Oh, it's not there. Okay. Tab hidden default on. And another setting, that is tab settings. Standard tabs or even custom object tabs also will be there. You can hide or unhide, hide or hidden. Hidden will be there. Default off will be there. Whatever you want, you can choose. Very much important things are record type settings and others. So you have seen okay. Now here tab settings are done. So these are administrative permissions. We'll see that. So here object permissions. Let me show you how the administrative permissions are. Now we have the customers object, right? So I am able to edit the customers, create the customers, and will be able to see all the customers as well. Okay, here let me go ahead on this. Employees, I'm removing each and every permission. Sorry, not employees. Customers. Let me do all permissions. Okay. If we have at least read permission, then only tab will be available. Otherwise, tabs, even if you enable the tab settings here, if you don't have object level permissions like read permission, then you will not be able to see that. Okay. Now we have customers, right? Just refresh. Insufficient privileges means privileges or not defined. Okay. Now let's go and here. If I give read permission, means you can see the record, but you will not be able to create or edit, delete anything. We can't do anything else because we have not given the permissions like this. Okay. Let me give you create permission. Let's first give read permission. Okay. What is this? Now, so let me give the only read permission here for this user. I'm giving only read permission. Okay. So user should be able to see the records. Right? Read means he can see the records, but he can't edit or anything. Now just refresh. Tab is visible. Okay. Refresh. Customers. Okay. Edit. this customer is able to see that. Now, see if you enable the create permission will be enabled. Edit button will be available. Delete, if you give delete permission will be. Then what is view all and modify all? Okay, view all will give the access for all the records in the customer object. That's the read permission will be given. Modify all means this modify all permission will give the access for all the records. The entire control will be given. Means they will be able to read, create, edit, delete, and everything. So if you remove read permission, everything will be removed. If you give modify all permission, all will be enabled. Only create will not be available. Okay, that is very much important. One confusion still I'm having. So what permission is causing to give the permissions? They should not be able to see all the records. If customer record is having any relationship or which permission. See this. One kind of permission. Here now you will be able to edit, delete, create the records. Yeah. There will be other thing. And I was explaining the master detailed relationship. If you have seen the material, there will be one point. Access will be controlled by parent. The same is controlled by parent. Means whenever you are creating the master detailed relationship, access to the master, then only child records will be displayed. If you don't have access to the parent, then children records will not be displayed. Okay, so that's how it will be there. I will show this. So payment, student, training is there. Okay, training is the master. If you don't have access for training, see this, everything will is lost. At least if you want to have payments record, payment is the child for student, student is child for training, right? Now, if you enable this one, automatically all three will be enabled. Only read permission is dependent, not all other permissions. If you see this, create is indivisible. Means if you enable for one, only one will be there. Okay. Only read permission and view all permission is what is also not required. Okay. Only read permission is dependent on the parent. All other permissions are indivisible, independent. Okay. So if you want to have read permission on the child, you should have for the parent. Let's say now, if you want access for student, then training is important. If you want to have access for child of the payment, then all three are okay. So this is called controlled by parent. Okay. So there is controlled by parent, other thing is also there. Then this is view or modifier. Okay. I'm enabling them. Okay. So now there is another permission. Okay. Let me go here and expand one by one. This is very much required. And AB enabled is not required. Author Apex. So if you want to create some Apex classes, Author Apex is required. Do one thing for you guys. What I am giving some task is just see here there is manage users. Where is this? Manage users. If you enable this checkbox, then only they will be able to create the users, reset the users, lock, unlock the user. This one. Now let's see. I'll explain one thing. Like you can go to this setup, right? You don't want to give the option for them. Customize application. if you remove this permission, okay, now save this, lot of options will be removed. Go here, even lot of options will be disabled. Permissions you want to provide to users, then you can remove them. And there is another thing called the student or employee database. Employees, we have two kind of record types that also can be controlled based on the record type permissions. Where is this? Okay. So here there is employee record type, right? Just view assignments. Two available now. Settings, tab settings, record type settings here. Okay, edit. If you remove the contract record type permission, then this user will be able to always select. By default, page will be open for this employee. Okay, this is the record type settings. You can control the record type settings. It is another one. Administrative permissions. One by one. General user permissions. Fine. Object settings. So note down all these permissions and settings, whatever we have in the profile, and by hand them. Because you will be keep on asking the interview questions on this. Okay. So this is how you can control the permissions. Okay. Now let me remove access for all custom object for this users. Okay. I have removed object permissions. Now this will not be there. Even insufficient privileges. So there is no students, no payments, no trainings and everything. Okay. Now we have already told that one profile can be assigned to any number of users. Right? Now the customer profile is assigned to 10 users. 10 users will be seeing the same permissions and same tabs, same accessibility will be there. Right? Now if I want to provide custom object, one of the user, 10 users are there, out of need to give this custom object to 2 users. Okay. If you edit profile, if we have 10 users in the profile, 10 users will give the access. I mean, will get the access. Okay. In that case, we'll go for permission sets. Okay. Say permission set. I think you guys have understand that what is a profile. So all permissions, settings, whatever it is that even for record types, Apex classes, Visual Force pages, tab permissions, okay, object permissions, and everything, even field level security. That I have not told you guys, right? Come back. Okay. So here, okay, let me say this. There is account object, right? On account object, you will be able to see all the records and will be able to create new record, right? So now I don't want to provide phone access and fax as only read only. Okay, what happens is just edit the field level security and account Now, I don't want the phone number. Phone. Where is the phone? Just type phone. Remove the access. Okay. So, no read access, no edit access. Okay. For fax, only read access. Fax. I need to give only read access. I'm removing edit access. Okay. So, save this. This is field level security. Just refresh. Is that phone? Phone is not there because no permission. Fax is there because it is read only. But even there is, even though I have given read only permission for the fax, still I am able to edit them. Why? Because on the profile level, okay, for system administrators and others, will be one setting called is this customer profile. This one. Okay. To see this administrator permissions, read, okay, read only, edit read only fields permission will be there. Even though you have given the read permission on the field level security, if you have this permission enabled, edit read only permission, then they will be able to edit. Now I have removed this edit read only permission. It read only fields permission has been removed. So save it, edit, refresh. Fax is read only. Cannot save the value for this fax, but it will be read only, means you can see just that. Now let's go to the concept called permissions. Any questions on this profile?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's go the permission set. So permission set is also having license. Okay, you can select any license, or if you don't want the license, if you don't select any license, what you can do is you can assign this permission set to any type of users, even though user license is different. But if you select the license type, then you can assign this permission set to only the licensed users. Means the license should be matched between the user license and permission set license. Okay, I'm giving custom object permissions. Custom object permissions. Save this. Okay, just understand that if you change any setting in the profile, then whoever are assigned to that profile, all users access will be impacted. Okay, for that, if you want to provide some extra permissions, only extending, but you cannot restrict. If you have 10 object permissions on the profile, if you want to remove something using the permissions, you cannot do that. If you want to provide some extra permissions, that can be possible only through the permission set. Okay, so this permission set, we need to go with the object settings. Those are object settings on the right. Object settings. What object permissions you need? Account access. Let's say custom objects, right? Go there. I like this line. Customers. Okay. Customers access. This is customers. Okay. Instead of creating confusion, go to the trainings. Okay. Trainings. There is no access. Okay. Tool fields are there. Go to the training. Edit. You can assign tab settings, then read permission, create permission, edit permission. Okay, save. On training object, we have given the permission because If you edit the student, then again you have to provide the access for training because it's a parent in the master detail. Mayonnaise assignment. You can assign to any user. And assignments. Testing SFDC user. Assign. Oh. Not the same. Cancel. This user. You can assign to any users. Okay. So this user is assigned. Even this is the one way, and another one is go to the user detail page and click on edit permissions, edit assignments, and drag and drop. What are the permissions you have to select? You can select them and save this. Custom object permissions I have. Now say edit. One minute, if you refresh this, trainings will be enabled. Okay, trainings will be enabled and you can create and edit the plans. Okay. Permission set and profiles will be having same permissions. There is no much difference. But if you change in the profile, the profile can be assigned to any number of users. Even one permission set can be assigned to any number of users. But the difference is if you make a change on the profile, that will impact all the permission set also. The permission set, if it is assigned to 10 users will be impacted. That's common. But when you want to extend some functionality or provide some extra permissions to the set of users who are assigned to any of the profile, then you can create a permission set and assign to that user. Okay, so that is the difference between profile and permission set. Okay. Okay, so this is, I think, much more. We'll see tomorrow the goals, sharing goals, those we can see that later. Okay. Any questions for now? Ramesh, we can stop sharing.
Sir, I have